Hi everyone, welcome to the Martian Machine workshop. Today we are going to talk about personal branding, LinkedIn communication, and why is it important that you start communicating and exposing yourself more online. It doesn't have to be LinkedIn, you can pick any other media outlet or social media network you think you have relevant target audience on. Even though I will definitely mention some other tactics you might use for personal branding, we will talk the most about LinkedIn communication. To kick off with the presentation, let's start with a question. Do you think you already have a personal brand? Some might be surprised, but everybody has a brand. Your brand is your reputation. For example, what do people say about you when you leave the room? Do they recommend you to someone else for collaboration or trust you enough to ask you for a favor? So, don't forget, your brand is your reputation, and if you're not actively managing it, your brand might work against you instead of for you. Take your brand in your hands and start communicating more about your values and what is important to you. With that, you will build trustworthiness and respect over time. We can compare this with retail. Would you rather collaborate with someone that no one knows about or with someone that people recommend and speak highly of? For example, would you rather collaborate with a developer that nobody heard about previously or with a developer that was recommended to you from close friends? It's in our nature to trust recommendations and to those people that are recommended to us. If you compare it with the retail world, would you rather pick an unbranded coffee that costs €1 or a pound or a Starbucks one that costs 3.55? Of course, if you're really price concerned, you might pick the £1 or the €1 one, but Starbucks has a good reputation for the quality of their coffee, so some might pay 3 times more just to get the Starbucks coffee, even though both products have the same quality in most cases. This is why you should start to work on your personal brand. But what does personal brand mean exactly? Personal branding means finding your uniqueness and positioning yourself as an expert in your field. For example, I'm a digital marketer with more than 10 years in the field, but I love to say that my uniqueness is a combination of data, creativity, and MarTech stack in my approach to digital marketing strategy. When you define your uniqueness, when you define your values, when you position yourself as an expert, that will certainly raise your credibility and set yourself apart from others. We can say that personal branding is all about being genuine, providing value to the community, but also making sure that you have a narrow topics focus. Because if you tend to speak about topics that are too broad for your audience, then you might gain followers that are not really interested in your topic. Also, it's really important that you practice consistent content creation. This doesn't mean that you have to post every single day. This only means that you should have a plan of what you're going to communicate about online and that you should have a strategy behind it. So basically, define a strategy and be consistent with it. On this slide, you can see four different personas. I don't know if you're familiar with all of them. So first we have Neil Patel, which first started as an SEO guy, but after that he built an entire media empire. Then we have Gary Vee. He first started with a wine web shop, and later on basically became one of the most known entrepreneurs of all time. He's really popular with motivational quotes. Then we have Gordon Ramsay, uh, basically the cook you wish you do not cook for. And then, of course, Elon Musk, CEO and entrepreneur of SpaceX, Tesla, and recently Twitter. What all of these four men have in common? Well, basically, they are really genuine. They do not pretend to be something they're not. So, for example, if you follow Gordon Ramsay on social media, you will definitely see his personality kick in when he has to talk about food, when he has to rate food, etc. So, basically, personal branding isn't pretending to be someone you would love to be. Personal branding is just being genuine, being yourself, and talking about your own experience. And this is what these four guys really do well. You can either love them or hate them, but this is what they have in common. Before you get started with personal branding, these are some of the elementary questions that you have to ask yourselves. So, first one, what are your professional goals? Would you like to advance in your career? Would you like to increase your circle of influence or something else? Then you should ask yourself, okay, what you would like to what you would like to get from personal branding. So, would you like to increase your network? Would you like to sell your expertise? Would you, for example, like to start a side hustle? Would you like to start a startup? So, basically, what is your own personal goal with personal branding? After that, once you have defined your goals, think about what makes you unique, but also what makes you really reliable and trustworthy. For example, if you have like any certificates that are really popular in the industry, try to use that for trustworthiness. Or for example, if you have won an award, that is definitely also an evidence of that reliability. Testimonials, reviews from other people, that can also be um, evidence. Or for example, recommendations from other people, that is also definitely evidence. After that, think about how do you want to be perceived, basically what are your values and what you would love to transfer to other people that are actually reading your content, that are engaging with you. Once you have figured out what are your goals, what makes you unique, so basically what is the product, how you would like to be perceived, then you have to ask yourself, okay, who is my audience, who would I love to help, how is my story or background relevant to my audience? What type of content can I provide that they would be interested in? Once you have finalized all of that, you can actually start with content creation. But first, you have to pick a media or a tactic that you tend to use to build your personal brand. There are many different things that you can try out. For example, you can try to write a personal blog. You can have your own personal website. You can start a blog on Medium. You can, for example, start a TikTok account. TikTok accounts are currently really popular. And I remember, just a couple of years ago when I first started using TikTok more, I think this was just before COVID started. Um, you could only see, people dancing on TikTok, and those were mostly kids. But today, you can really find really nice business content on TikTok, and definitely a lot of YouTube creators that transfer to TikTok and that now are actually producing, quality short content, quality short business content. So TikTok can also be an outlet for you. If you're a developer, you can perhaps think about engaging more on Stack Overflow. If you're a designer, maybe you can, try to engage more on Dribble or, or Behance. If you're interested in photography, maybe you can use a Flickr or Vimeo, for example, or Instagram. You can also use YouTube if you're a designer, quite usefully for tips and tricks. If you're not really into creating content for online media, you can also build your personal brand for different offline events, such as meeting people in meetups, um, meeting people in conferences, in different company events, expos, etc. So basically, once you have realized what are your goals, what makes you unique, who is your audience, once you have picked out, different tactics or media that you will use for your personal brand, then you can try to think about what content types can you actually create. Let's go over some benefits of personal branding, why you should do it before we head into content types. First off, if you're more recognizable in the network, in your industry, if you position yourself as an expert and the community knows about you, you will definitely get more opportunities. You can get opportunities such as speaking gigs, media invitations, You might even get some new clients. You might get, some proposals for side hustles. So basically, you will definitely have many new opportunities from clients, partners, and colleagues. Because once you position yourself as an industry expert, that will definitely build trust and confidence. The next one is network effect and referral. Your connections on social media, especially if you're talking about LinkedIn, are actually the people that could work with you. For example, somebody can notice, that you are communicating on social media and can actually, learn more about your company or, about the company where you work at. And they could, try to engage with you and they later on um, be your colleague. They can become your colleagues. So, for constant communication, you can also notice if somebody is trying to engage more with you. It could be that they're interested in learning more from you. The next one is the fact that trustworthiness increases. Audiences tend to trust the product or services more when they see strong personal branding and representation. So, for example, anytime a CEO or a head or a director in a company shares something about your company, on their personal page, audiences would trust that product or service more than if we use a company page and share that same post. It's also known that reaching engagement are better through personal pages than through company pages. So basically, it's quite easier to get a better reach and engagement organically for sharing posts on a personal profile of a CEO or a team lead than sharing something on a company page. You can also use personal branding for sales or to get insights. Personal branding can help you with sales and outreach by getting feedback from your network. For example, people will engage with people they're following easier than with those they do not know about, or just by engaging with the industry. So, for example, you can try to engage with the entire industry by communicating through different posts or by writing or using like a cold outreach method for direct contact. Now that we have defined what is personal branding, what are some tactics that you can use, and what are some benefits of using personal branding, let's now head into LinkedIn communication. So, like I mentioned in the beginning, I will mostly talk about LinkedIn communication during this presentation. So, first off, why you should communicate on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the largest professional network and the ideal place to share professional ideas and demonstrate your expertise. For LinkedIn, you can also get a lot of opportunities to connect with people from different functions, industries, and locations. Other than your own personal benefits on LinkedIn, you should also communicate on LinkedIn because you can also help out your company. You can also make your company a more attractive employer if you talk about their benefits or how those benefits influence you. You can also increase the visibility of companies' communication by sharing companies' posts. And you can open the door to clients and business partners if you talk about on which products are you currently working on and how is it going. What to do before you start communicating on LinkedIn? So first off, update your LinkedIn profile. Check if you are connected to the company, add a profile and the cover photo, add summary, add education, certificates, skills, etc. So basically make sure that your LinkedIn profile looks really, really well. And summary is really, really important. So summarize everything you successfully, did in the last couple of years in different roles that you had. The next step would be to connect with relevant peers, connect with your friends, with your colleagues, team members, and experts from the industry. And finally, start liking or even commenting on other posts you find interesting, and people will start noticing you. Once you are ready, you can start thinking about posting different types of content. What type of content can you post about? So, first off, educational content. You can talk about your expertise, about your learnings, experiences, and thoughts about your industry niche and your expertise. You can share industry news and articles. Those are especially valuable if you add your own commentary and views about the insight or the article. You can share your work updates. For example, you can explain how you solved the project, how you managed to go over a challenge. You can showcase the project you're working on, share fun things that happened at the office. So it doesn't all have to be really professional. You can also be yourself, but try to keep it professional. Do not talk about stuff you did, before you went to sleep, make s- but make sure that everything you post is somehow work related. You can talk about events and conferences. You can also share checklists and free goodies. These are like really popular at the moment. So for example, if you share, some free stuff that people can download, share or gain access to, such as a Notion document, as a presentation, as an Google Sheets document, or like a script that you coded. All of this is something that is quite uh, shareable, and that people will definitely think is, this will be definitely be available content to people. You can also share company posts, but also do not only share company posts. So people are not interested in following. Maybe they are not interested in following your company. They are interested in following you. So try to personalize it a bit, even if you share it, or do not overshare it. That's also really important. If you have like any side hustles or different business interests, for example, if you're a developer with a interest in crypto, you can talk about that topic as well. Or if you have any either side hustles or other any business frills you're really interested in, you can also share them here. You can also offer mentorship or free consultation. This is something that people will find valuable as well. And these are basically just some ideas that you can do, but of course there are many different topics that you can share and provide to the community. What type of posts can you create? On LinkedIn, there are a bunch of stuff that you can create, from textual posts and links, from photo posts, video posts, polls, which are quite engaging, articles, documents, occasions, posts for hiring and finding an expert, sharing events, and also offering help. So first off, we have textual posts and link. So text posts often have better reach than photo video posts. I've tested this in a couple of times. So for example, first I posted a photo post with a text. Once that post didn't perform really well, then I, just uploaded another post that was only a textual post that had the same story but without a photo, and actually achieved better reach and engagement with that type of post. Also, it's really important that you remember that text posts without a link perform better than text posts with a link to external sites. So if you can, try to write a text post as a story and do not add a link if you really want, some quality engagement and some quality reach. If you really need to add a link, it's always better to add it as a first comment. And once again, just to repeat it, it's really, the best way to write it like a story. On the right, this is an example of one founder that actually decided that he will share, every single day, he decided to share one e-commerce tactic that worked for his own web shop. And this is a great storytelling type of post, because every day he will continue his story through 199 days. This actually means that basically, more than half a year, he will post about e-commerce tactics. This is the path that this founder chose, and I really appreciate it, because this definitely adds value, and it will definitely bring him a really quality reach and engagement over time. If there is a topic that is currently trending online, and if you write a text post about it, that post will definitely perform better, especially if you add your own commentary. For example, at the moment, ChatGPT and AI tools are quite popular topic online. And for example, this developer um, wrote a post about GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT, and he mentioned that from his opinion, GitHub Copilot is better and superior when it comes to coding. He thinks that he was very skeptical at first, but it really does help a lot. So basically, he wrote a post that was relevant for a viral topic, and his post definitely performed better. Some other tips also include using a top line header followed by the use of bullet points and numbered list, as this will grab attention and break up the text. Or you can also try to use emojis instead of bullet points to make your posts more visually appealing. Like mentioned before, if you need to add a link to your text post, it's probably better to add it as a first comment. Of course, linking to external content is definitely worthwhile if it's going to add value to your network, but don't do it too much. LinkedIn's goal is to keep users engaged in the feed as long as possible. So too many posts that recommend that you visit an external site can impact the reach of your future posts. One extra tip, if you want your focus to be on the content, submit your post without a link first. Adding the link after you posted your text post actually means your post will still classify as a text-only post, and the post won't display an image preview of the linked website. Alternatively, like mentioned before, you can add your link in the first comment and communicate that you'll send the link through DMs. Let's move on to photo posts. First, we will talk about single image posts, which are probably the most used ones. Single image posts are best for short and snappy statistics, educational infographics, event promotions, or relevant announcements. LinkedIn suggests that posts with people can increase your CTR up to 160%. If you share a photo with a link, try to avoid posting a link in the post text and rather add the link to the comments. After single image posts, we also have multi-image posts. So rather than sharing just one image, you can add multiple images. And this is great for sharing images for conferences and networking events. If you share more than 5 images, bear in mind that it won't be seen unless the user clicks through the post. So if you have more than 5 images, try to think about creating a collage or maybe using a carousel post. Since we mentioned carousel posts, let's say a couple of words about them. So carousel photo posts use up to 10 images that are shown as a carousel. Basically, you can scroll through these photographs like you can see in this video. These type of posts are great for sharing tips, insights, a short and branded presentation, or a case study. What is rather interesting is that you have to use the add a document option to create a carousel photo post instead of adding a photo. So if you go over to add a photo on LinkedIn, you will not see an option to create a carousel post. This is because you have to create it as a document. So rather than uploading 10 images and saying, okay, this will be a carousel post, you actually have to first create a PDF document of images or a presentation and then upload it as a document. Once you do that, you'll be able to see your carousel. If you would like to share a carousel photo post, always use the share option or download the entire document. Do not share print screen of photos since the formatting will be lost. Also make sure that while you are designing the carousel photo post, that all elements in the carousel are consistent across all the slides. And do not forget about including a clear call to action at the end of your carousel post. Now let's talk about video posts. Video posts tend to perform better in terms of engagement than photos. Always post natively video posts on LinkedIn. Unlike embedded videos via services such as YouTube, LinkedIn native videos autoplay in feed. LinkedIn videos should not be longer than 90 seconds, so include subtitles for the best engagement levels. One thing I noticed regarding video posts, for example, is this example here on the right. So this is a guy that he is Microsoft Excel trainer, and basically what he does, he shares videos of how to do stuff in Excel, because of course nobody knows how to do basic stuff in Excel. We do a lot of stuff manually, and he shares tips and tricks basically through a native video on LinkedIn, and this performs really well for him. A couple of more tips for video posts. Start your videos with essential information and close with a strong call to action. Videos should always be backed up with supporting copy, as 45% of viewers still read the captions. And videos are a great way to present a new case study, an explainer video, testimonial, event videos, etc. And also do not forget to segment your customers based on their jobs to be done, either by baking pancakes or basically hitting someone in the head. Now, let's say a couple of more things about polls. Polls were probably announced a couple of years ago on LinkedIn. They are basically a new format that you cannot see a lot on a bunch of different media. They're not only available on LinkedIn, they're of course available on some other media, but they definitely have some good traction on LinkedIn as well. Polls actually present a good way to get relevant insights. You can quickly and easily create them, and you can definitely get into interaction discussion with people from your network. So for example, if you're really interested in getting some quick user research from your own user network, you can do it by polls. And polls actually have great reach and engagement, but also do not overuse them, as that can be considered as spam. On the right, you can see a great example, a great poll example. The question was, how often do you talk with your customers about the digital experiences? And in the post text, the author actually explained what the poll is about and what is actually his point of view here. It's recommended to include up to 4 possible responses and also to let users add options. Also, it's really important that you write a poll that encourages people to vote and to like or comment on your poll post. LinkedIn actually doesn't count a vote as a form of engagement, meaning that you want people to like and comment as a way to increase your organic reach. So try to add your comment in the post text. So do not create a poll without adding, a relevant post text. Try to use this post text to add more context to the poll. Or, for example, your own commentary. After that, we have articles. Articles are basically a longer blog format type post on LinkedIn. I've seen like 2 ways that people use it, and I've also tried to use it on LinkedIn. So the first one is to write a LinkedIn only article. For example, you do not have a blog, and you can use LinkedIn to write a longer type of content. So basically, you can write a blog on LinkedIn if you wish so. The other option that I've seen more heavily used on LinkedIn is to repost a blog article as a summary through LinkedIn article. So you can use this if your article is posted on a blog to gain additional traction from LinkedIn. Just make sure that the LinkedIn article summary is intriguing and that it always takes users back to the website where your article is posted. Now let's talk about occasions. There are many different occasions that you can post on LinkedIn. This is definitely connected a lot to the work updates that you can share. So for example, you can celebrate an occasion if you just got hired, if you just got a new job, if you got promoted to the new position, when is your work anniversary, if you launched a new project, if you welcomed a new team member to your team, or to give kudos to a colleague that you would like to praise. If you just scroll for LinkedIn, you can see a bunch of people saying they just got a new position, that they just got hired. that they just started at a new company, and you will see, this basic templated pics that LinkedIn created. And this is actually a great way to add some more personality and your personal brand and give it an extra exposure. For our own employees, we will create templates for each occasion, and of course we'll share it once we have them. For now, we created a couple of different cover photos that you can use, so feel free to test it out. Other occasions, let's say a couple of things about share that you're hiring. This is an additional feature that is great tool for people in culture team. It's recommended that CEOs and team leads and heads also use this function when you're looking for a new team member. So, for example, what does this feature do? So, if you share that you are hiring, you can also actually get an additional tag in a profile pic that says that you're hiring. This is this purple tag or purple overlay over your profile pic. And when you add a share that you're hiring post, definitely add a short post text about what you're searching for, and help your people and culture managers with hiring. Now, let's say a couple of things about finding an expert. You can use this feature or post type for freelance sourcing or for industry expert sourcing. So, for example, we at Martian Machine often collaborate with different freelancers. And for example, through this type of post, we could maybe reach out to our network, and we could use it to find an expert in an area that we might need. Or this is also useful if you would love to find a relevant industry expert, for example, for a user interview that you would like to do, etc. Especially great for idea validation. Now let's move on to some additional tips and tricks. So first off, keep your content short or long. It doesn't matter. The data shows that people love both, short, snappy, impactful posts, and they also love long, in-depth pieces of content. So you can do either short or long, or even mix and match for times to times and experiment with it. Try to stay personal or add some personality to your posts. Although readers on LinkedIn really want, practical, actionable advice, people also want to connect with people. So sharing a little context and personality alongside your expertise will help that. Try to write like you talk. Keep your post conversational, personable. Make sure to add your own style to it and trigger conversation. Encourage others to engage with what you are saying, and this will definitely give you more options to start building relationships. Use AI for help. Bad grammar actually decreases your reach, while you can use many different AI tools to help you out. For the last, I think, 3 years, I've been using Copy AI and Jasper AI, which are quite useful. They can actually give you like another point of view when you're writing, or you can also use ChatGPT for some ideas. Once again, share various forms of content, experiment, mix and match. Do not only post photos. This is what people mostly do. Try and experiment with posting text, with posting photos, with posting videos. Try to engage with the community and see what performs better. And use headers, bullet points, emojis as a way to break up the post. This will definitely make them more digestible. When it gets to the best time to post on LinkedIn, of course, you should experiment first, but most often it's early in the morning or later in the evening. But like mentioned, definitely experiment, test, and see when your audience is awake through using different LinkedIn analytics tools. You can also really understand when your content is performing the best. For example, for us, it turned out that posting on Friday tends to perform the worst. but maybe for you, posting on Friday can perform great. So just experiment and check the numbers. Use hashtags, but do not overdo it. I suggest using up to five per post. Try to use popular recommended hashtags. Also follow hashtags to check how are people using it. You can also use some tools to help you out, for example, like best hashtags. If you use any other social media networks such as Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, or anything else, feel free to share a link to your LinkedIn posts if you have relevant audience on those platforms. Another tip and trick would be to comment on relevant topics and tag other users for additional comments. And this is a great example of what one of our partners at M&M does. So basically, he noticed an article that is really relevant for us as a venture studio. He added his own comment, and then he asked our other partner and CEO of Martian Machine to comment on it. And this is a great way to actually build brand awareness about your company and to add commentary and to add additional value to the community. Do not forget to use LinkedIn Content Analytics. Their own content analytics is becoming much, much better. So, for example, 2 or 3 years ago, LinkedIn Content Analytics was really not useful for personal profiles, but now you can actually use it to understand what performs better. But for more additional insights, for deeper insights, definitely use, for example, tools such as Analytics. And do not forget about tools that can help you out develop your network, such as Valaxy, which is a marketing automation tool, or let's call it like a cold outreach tool that can help you out with expanding your network with relevant audiences. This is it. Thank you a lot for listening to this workshop. I hope you learned something new and that you will try to work on your personal brand. See you next time in another Martian Machine education.